Okay. So let's say if I have used, if we understand the order of execution of the syntax, which is what? We don't have it over here. Let me just have a new query, which is what? Order of execution of syntax is what? So from where group by having select order by. Okay. So that means, let's say if you have defined the alias name of a table, right? So that alias name you can inside of that table, you can use inside where group by having select order by everywhere. Now you have defined the alias name in the select. So that alias name of the variable can only be used in the order by. Clear? You cannot, if you have defined the alias name of a variable, let's say total sales, you cannot use that alias name over here where group by having or from. You have to use the formula only, whatever your function is. Okay. 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 Now, so today we'll be starting with subqueries. In order to solve these questions, rest of the questions, we'll be needing that concept subqueries. Okay. So let me select the database, which is Bootcamp May. And in that, I'll be working with orders table. Okay. So I'll be working with this table. Select star from PBL order. This data set I'll be working with. Okay. Now let's understand what are subqueries. What is a subquery? Guys, I can say nested query or query within a query. That's subquery. Like we have nested functions. In a similar manner, we have nested queries. Okay. Now, if I talk about the types of subqueries, the first type we have is self-contained. Self-contained subquery, and the second type we have is correlated. Okay. Subquery. Now, in self-contained, we have two types of subqueries further. The first one is we have ordinary subquery, and the B part we have is inline. Okay. Now, if I talk about the self-contained subquery, so self-contained subqueries are those queries which can be executed independently. That is, the output of this query does not depend on the outer query. That's a self-contained. Now, what is correlated? Are those queries which cannot be executed independently. That is, the output of this query depends on the outer query. Okay. So that is the difference between self-contained and correlated. Clear? It is related to the outer query. That is why correlated. Now, talking about the ordinary subquery, which is a category in the self-contained. So, ordinary subqueries written inside select where and having. Okay. I'll be writing the ordinary subqueries. I'll be writing the ordinary subqueries in these clauses only. Inline, return, inside, from only. That's a inline. Okay. Correlated, where you can write correlated. Correlated, you can write again return inside, where having. We do not use correlated in real life scenarios. I'll tell you the reason for that. But yeah. Clear everyone with the theoretical part? What is the difference between self-contained and correlated? Okay. We will see when to write it inside the select, when to write it inside the where, and when to write this inside the having, and when to write this inside the from. Okay. Now, online guys, is it clear the definition of self-contained and correlated? It's a very important concept. So let me know. Okay. Since the definition is clear, now let's look at the practical part of it. I'll be working with this table, which is orders table. Okay. This is the data. Now let me give you a question. Okay. So let's work with first ordinary. Self-contained में we'll be working with ordinary subquery and yeah. Okay. And inside ordinary, I'll be working with inside select. When to write the subquery inside the select statement. Okay. So I will say, so let me give you a question for that. The question is, I'm saying find the percentage distribution of sales for each category. Clear? I need to find what is the percentage distribution of sales for each category. Now, how to go about it? What will be the approach looking at the data? Tell me. What's the first step I need to do in order to achieve the output? What? Correct. What data? I need to get the total sales of each category first. Okay, let me do that. That's my first step. So I will say select star from GBL order as A and A dot category, sum of A dot sales, right? And is it correct? Is it correct? Can I execute this? Group by aggregated column, non-aggregated column. Non-aggregated column will go into group by. Group by A dot category. This will give me total sales for each category. Now, in order to achieve the percentage distribution, I need to divide each with the overall sales, right? So let me get that overall sales number. Okay. So what is that? So I'll just select sum of sum, let's say from TBL order as A, and I'm saying A dot sales. This will give me a single number. So this is the overall sales. I got it. So I'll just right click and I'll copy the value. And if I divide this with this one, this will give me what? Percentage distribution of sales for each category. I have got the percentage distribution. So now what I can do, I just simply, let's say I can multiply this with 100 to change the scale. And good to go. Yeah. As I've given the alias name to the column. That is, so I have got the what percentage distribution, right? Let's say next time I fetch the data using the select query, my total or overall sales changes. So every time I won't be copying it and pasting it over here because this has to be dynamic. Yes or no? So in order to make it dynamic, wherever I have put this value, can I put the select query? Yeah. Every time it will give me what? Overall sales from the table column sales, which is present in the database. So let me just copy this. So this is static. I can make it dynamic. What I need to do in order, instead of this, it will just fetch my, so I don't, yeah, it will just fetch my what? Data dynamically. Alias is not required. If you want to use it, you can. ठीक है, अगर यहाँ पे मैंने alias use नहीं किया है तो मेरे को यहाँ से भी हटाना पड़ेगा ऊपर से what, so wherever you write your sub query that has to be inside the parenthesis. ठीक है, so यहाँ पे I will put it inside the parenthesis. So this is now good to go, right? I have put, see if I execute this, ठीक है, will it give me the output? Yes or no? Yes. So that means what? What is the definition of self-contained? Which can be executed independently. The output does not depend on the outer query. That is why ordinary subquery. And I have written it inside the select, so it's a ordinary. Any doubt over here? So ठीक है, now if I execute this, then I've got the same output. So now I don't have to copy paste the static number every time, right? It will dynamically fetch the overall sales. Clear? How to use a subquery inside the select statement in which scenarios? In which scenario you'll be using? Whenever you want a aggregated single number, right? Total sales, like overall sales, for each, like say specifically, even based on condition, you can write your entire select query over here, like where category equals to technology only. It will work on what? Continuous type of column, aggregate. Yes, aggregation is for continuous columns only. So you can take count also with the categorical columns. Okay, but point is, whenever you want the overall values at the column level, you will be using a subquery inside the select. मतलब अगर आपको डिवाइड करना हो तो यहाँ, ठीक है? Clear? Guys, any doubt in the subquery inside select? Online guys, clear? Online guys, let me know clear or not. Guys, at least give a response. Yes or no? ठीक है? You can write the entire select query over here. Okay. Moving on. So this was regarding what inside select. Let's now check inside where. Okay. So let me check the data select star from TBL order as a. This is my data set. Let me see what question we can have. So let's say the question is inside where, right? Okay. So get the total sales for the customers who have purchased among the top 3 products. Question clear? I want to get the total sales of only those customers who have purchased from the top 3 products. Okay? So let's break down the question. Total sales of the customers, and the second part is what? Top 3 products. Okay? Can I get these things individually using different select statements? Okay. So let me first get the top 3 products. So I'll say select star from, one second. Select star from TBL order as a. I want what? A dot product and sum of A dot sales. Then what? Group by A dot product. I need to summarize. Yeah. After summarizing, what else? Order by, because I need top 3. Order by what? Sum of sales. in descending order. Among this, let's say how many products I have 8 products. I want to know which are the top 3. So binders, machine, and phones. So top 3. I have the top 3 products now. What I want to do, I want to get the total sales for the customers who have purchased among the top 3 products. So select, let's say select start from TPL order as A, and I am saying A dot customer name. Let's say we don't have the ID over here. So let's say customer name, sum of A dot sales as total underscore sales. What next? Group by customer. Okay. This is giving me what? This is giving me the total sales of all the customers. How many customers are there? 20. So this is giving me all the sales of the basically giving me total sales of all customers. But मेरे को कौन से कस्टमर की सेल्स चाहिए? जिन्होंने टॉप 3 प्रोडक्ट में से कोई भी प्रोडक्ट परचेज किया है. Correct? So what I will do, I need to filter from the what? Raw data, right? So I will use what? Where A dot product in multi-valued operator. I have to check which are the top 3 products. Which are the top 3 products? Binders, machines, and phones. So I can write over here binders, machines, multi-value filtering, multi-valued operator. We have done this also. So what will happen? First, the data will be filtered for these 3 categories from the product, and then it will return me the total sales of the customers. So there were 20 customers. Let's say how many customers are there and the sales will be affected. 11. Clear? But let's say the data keeps getting updated in the tables in the database. Next time, my top 3 product changes. So it is binders, machines, and some other category, not phones. So I won't keep changing it manually every time. So what will I do? Simply, instead of this, it can fetch me the values from this. Just one second. Right? So this is what this group by is of the inner query. This one is the outer query group by. Now it will return me what? See, execute. Okay, let me just execute this and it will return me error. It is saying only one expression can be specified in the select list when the subquery is not introduced with exist, right? So if you see over here, I have a single list of values. यहाँ पे I have a table. So यहाँ पे I have a table. So that is a problem over here. So what I need to have, what is happening? So what I need to have over here, only which column? I need to have in the subquery inside where you should have only one column. Okay? Which column I should have? Product, which have these values. So it will check for each of the values in the final data set. So sum of sales I can remove because this what select statement is doing, it is just displaying the values. Ideally, I am basically doing the sorting on the basis of sum of sales only, which is bifurcated on the basis of group by for each product. Right? So if I execute this, what order by?
In the where condition, they will give order by some of the sales.
In where condition? What is my question? Top 3 products. So first I need to filter the data for the top 3 products, right? And that data filtered, for that data, I need to calculate the total sales for each customer. So this is how you're going to do it. Now it's dynamic. You'll get the same output, 11 rows. So this is how you're going to use a subquery inside where. Ordinary subquery in where clause. Clear? Anyone having any query? So this is dynamic. Even let's say sales decreases or increases, accordingly it will give me the top 3 products. Okay, yeah. Online guys, clear with subquery in where clause?
So थोड़े से स्टेप रिकैप कर दो ना सर.
Okay. See, पहले आप कैसे filtering करते थे multiple values को? You used to use in operator and you used to write it manually. मैंने क्या किया यहाँ पे, ये जो वैल्यूज मैनुअली आ रही थी, आई जस्ट गॉट इट यूजिंग अ क्वेरी व्हिच आई हैव पुट इट इंस्टेड ऑफ द वैल्यूज आई हैव जस्ट रिटन द सब क्वेरी. So it will dynamically fetch the values top three on the basis of the sales. Let's say in the next month, the top three products are not same. It may change depending on the sales happening, right? So it will accordingly will filter the data for the top three products. But यहाँ पे आपको हर बार मैनुअली चेक करके वैल्यूज चेंज करनी होगी. क्लियर आदित्य?
Yes, sir. Okay.
कोरिलेटेड पे तो मैं गया ही नहीं अभी तक. सेल्फ कंटेंट एंड सेल्फ कंटेंट में भी मैं ऑर्डिनरी पे हूँ अभी. ठीक है, ऑर्डिनरी पे कौन कौन सा कर लिया? इनसाइड सेलेक्ट, इनसाइड वेयर. नाउ वी विल बी सीइंग इनसाइड हैविंग. तो देखो, इसको तो मैं इंडिपेंडेंटली एग्जीक्यूट कर पा रहा हूँ ना. ये कहाँ है, रिलेटेड है आउटर क्वेरी से? कौन सा वाला? ये वाला. तो ये तो आउटर क्वेरी है ना. इनर क्वेरी अगर आउटर क्वेरी पे डिपेंडेंट है तो वो कोरिलेटेड है. ये डिपेंडेंट है इनर क्वेरी आउटर क्वेरी पे? नहीं, इंडिपेंडेंटली एग्जीक्यूट हो रही है ना, तो इनलाइन हुई. और इनलाइन नहीं हो, क्या होता है, ऑर्डिनरी. लेट्स सी इनसाइड हैविंग. So again, select star from GPL order as a. Yeah. हाँ करेक्ट. यहाँ पे वन डायमेंशनल एक ही कॉलम ले सकते हो आप. करेक्ट. ये ऑर्डर बाय किया है ना मैंने यहाँ पे सम ऑफ सेल्स, तो ये बाइफर्केशन तो हो ही गया है प्रोडक्ट के बेसिस पे, एंड देन इट इज सॉर्टिंग इट इन द डिसेंडिंग ऑर्डर. ठीक है. तो वॉट एवर कॉलम ऑन द बेसिस ऑफ व्हिच यू आर फिल्टरिंग ओवर हियर, यू हैव टू कीप दैट कॉलम. ठीक है. Inside having, so let the question be uh, get the customers whose total sales is above above overall average. ठीक है. Question is clear. I want to show the sales of only those customers whose total sales is above the overall average sales. When I say overall average sales, it means the average of the sales column, and whichever customer's total sales is greater than equals to the average sales, I just need to show those sales and the customer's name in the output. So how will I approach this? First, I will show the total sales of all the customers. Second step, I will find out the overall average. Then I will combine these two queries to make it a single query. So I'll be using the second one as a subquery for filtering. Okay. Filtering for what? If I'm summarizing the sales of each customer, total sales, that's a summary. So if I want to perform filtering, I'll be using this subquery where inside having. Okay, let's see one step at a time. So I want what? A dot customers, sum of A dot sales as total underscore sales, and group by. So this will give me the total sales of each customer. There are 20 customers. I only want to show the sales of those customers whose sales is above overall average. Let's find out what is the average. Select star from TBL order as A, and let me just make it as average of A dot sales. Okay. This is the overall average. So whichever customer sales are greater than equals to this one, I need to filter only those customers. Copy. Because since I'm performing this on an aggregated data, I'll be using having clause. Having what? Having what? Sum of sales. I cannot use alias name in having. Greater than equals to this value. Sorry. This value. 11 customers whose total sales is above the overall average. Now, if I want to make it dynamic, just copy. I'm keeping the dynamic part also. So next time, let's say the average changes. I won't be changing the value. Simply in the parenthesis, what I have to do? Subquery. So no, okay, I can have the alias name also. Okay. Now execute. Same output, 11 rows. Because now if I execute just the subquery, it will give me the output. It is executed independently. So that means it's a ordinary subquery. So we have seen the three scenarios of ordinary subquery. when to write ordinary subquery inside select, when to write it inside where, and when to write it inside having clause. Is everyone clear with the ordinary subquery inside where, select, and having?
Can you please repeat the having part?
Having
last
part.
one. Yeah.
So I am saying I want to get only those customers sales whose total sales is above overall average sales, right? So that's when I say overall average sales, that means I want the average of the entire sales column. And each and for the first part, I need to calculate the total sales of each customer, which is sum of sales and group by customer, right? So if I just execute this, this is giving me the summary of total sales of each customer. There are 20 customers and their total sales. Now I want to find out how many customers and what are their sales whose sales is above overall average. So if I check what is my overall average, I've written a subquery for that, a separate query. So this is my overall average. Now, if I want to filter on the summarized data, I will use what? Having clause, right? Because you cannot use aggregation functions inside where also. Aggregated functions cannot be used inside where for filtering. So I'm saying whichever total sales of the customer, whichever total sales is greater than this value, just filter that. This is static. Now let's say the value changes next month. The data gets added and my overall average changes. Right. So instead of changing this value manually, I can simply paste this query over here, which will be acting as a subquery, which will calculate the average of the overall sales column dynamically. So that's what I have done.
Okay, sir. So, sir, what is the order to execute?
Right.
It's executed.
Sorry.
Like which part gets executed first? First of all, the entire average will be calculated in this query.
First, the entire average will be calculated, right? Then it will summarize, and after that, it will filter for that overall average.
Okay. Okay.
Anyone else having any other query in the ordinary subquery part? Carry or group by is used for aggregation, summarize data. Okay.
Sir,
Yeah.
sir, here above overall average means greater than or equals to all average.
Sorry, Aditya, repeat.
Sir, above overall average means greater than or equals to we use.
Above, yeah, Malam, you can go with greater than equals to greater than any case. Like,
Can we use only greater than, sir?
yes, we can use that. No issue with that.
Answer is same.
See, 11 rows.
Okay, sir.
I mean, it depends. You can clarify this thing when it's above overall average. So that means it depends. Is it strict whether you are following strict equality or with basically greater than equals to will work. If you're following strict equality, that means you have to go greater than only.
Okay, sir.
Okay, so this was inside ordinary, select, where, and having. Now let's discuss inline subquery, which is written inside from only. Inline subquery. Okay, so if I just select start from TBL order as a. Okay, so what I am telling you is over here. Okay, so question can be he get the customer with the top second sales amount. Clear? I don't want to see top two. I want to see the top second customer. If you remember the large function in Excel. So just tell me how can I get the top second customer? Huh? What is the first thing I will do? Let's say select star from table order as a. That's my basic query. After that, let's say I am considering that there are no duplicate rows. Okay? I'm making this an assumption over here. There are no duplicate rows. So what will I do? If the customers are repetitive, what will I do? Why distinct customers? The customers are if some customer has purchased multiple times, right? So his name will be repetitive or ID will be repetitive. So what will I do? How do I find the top second? Summarize. Correct. Group by. I will summarize if there are multiple records of a particular person and he has done multiple purchases. I will get the total sales amount. How will limit function? Limit, there's no limit function in SQL Server. It's top, which is in MySQL limit. Here we have top function. Okay? So I will say a dot, and if you say limit only or top 5 only, top 2 only, you are saying, right? It doesn't matter what it is doing. It is just fetching the top 2 rows. Doesn't matter whether it is the largest value or the lowest value. So it doesn't make any sense with top 2. Okay. So what I want is, I want to understand like what is the top second customer in terms of sales, the customer which is at the second position in terms of sales, in terms of highest sales. So which customer is having the second highest sales? So let me say, I will say what? Select a dot customer name, and I am saying sum of, considering I am not having any duplicate rows over here. Okay? A dot sales as total sales group by a dot customer name. When I do this, it will give me the total sales of each customer. Okay. Now what? I can say top 2, not top 2. I have to first sort it in descending order. So I will say order by sum of sales, or I can say total sales. Okay, I can use the alias name in descending order. So I want this Kate in the output. Top second customer, right? How can I get that? So what will I do is, let me say top 2. Okay. This will give me the top 2 customers, Sanjeet and Kate along with it, right? Top 2 I have. Having me, that is not correct. So what? So that is, see, when I'm performing this query, the data is still there in the backend, right? So what I want to do is, I want to store this output as a table, temporary table. Okay. So for that, what will I do? I will write an inline subquery. So this query will become a inline subquery. Okay. When I say select star, so if I say select star from, what do I write inside the from? After from? Bracket open, and let me, what do I write after from, guys? Huh? Sorry? What? Table, not alias name, we write the table name after from, correct? So I am saying, instead of writing a table name, just I'm putting this query inside the bracket. And I have to give an alias name to this query. So let's say T. Okay? So that means the name of the output of this query is table T. Okay? So I can say now order by T dot. What will be the column name? Total sales, because I have defined this as a table. The output of the query, subquery, is an input to the outer query. T dot total sales, and I'm keeping it as ascending only. And here I will say top 1 star. So what it will give me? So this Kate will be at the top, and I will be able to get top second customer in terms of sales. Similarly, you can get the top third, top fourth, top fifth using the same query. So what is this? This query is known as inline subquery, because I'm using the output of this query as an input to the outer query. So like we take input from the table. So I'm storing, you can say I'm storing, basically I'm considering the output of this query as a table only. Okay? If there are certain tasks where you required to perform calculations on the output that you have got. So for that, you have to first declare it as a table using the inline subquery, and then you can perform whatever task you want to perform on top of it. This one? This one? It won't show you error. Why? It's a ordinary subquery, no? Not ordinary, self-contained. So self-contained can be executed independently. Clear, everyone? Wherever you want to declare the output as a table and want to perform calculations on top of it. So I'm just telling you it as a table, but it is not created as a table in the backend. It is just a temporary output, only limited to this query. So let's say I have this, the output is what? This is the output, top 2 customers. I want to store it, not store it. I want to declare this as a table and use this, perform calculation on this output. I want to do the sorting only on this output. So what I have done, I have declared this query as a subquery because I've written it inside the from and give the alias name as T and then perform order by on this T table, which is having the total sales column. Guys, clear with the inline part? This one. So press Alt and then click on the cursor and then just drag it and then press space, whatever you want to do. So you can even write something as like this, whatever you want to write. So this is, I am no, this indentation or spacing is not important in SQL. I'm just doing it for the better understanding of the code. So if you just understand, if I keep this everything in a single line, how messy it will look. But still it will give you the same output. But in Python, you need to have proper indentation. Okay? Everyone clear with the inline query, subquery? So this query is declared as an inline subquery. No, whatever output, let's say you want to create a subset of a data and perform further calculation only on that subset, you can declare it as an inline subquery. So to declare as an inline subquery, you just need to write it inside the from clause of the another select statement, outer select statement, and just declare it, give it an alias name. Like you give an alias name to a table, you need to give an alias name to this query also. Basically the output of this query. Okay. Online guys, clear with the inline subquery? Online guys, clear? Okay. Then last we have is correlated subquery, which we don't use in real life. So for this, I'll be using the MSO case study. ठीक है? तो यहाँ पे I have used what? So it is MSO. So let's say I'm taking two tables over here. Select a top one star from TBL customer and TBL house. Okay. So these two I have. So what I will do, let's say if I'm saying select star from TBL customer as a where cust ID, or I should say a dot cust ID cust in, and I will write us some. I will write a correlated subquery. Okay. Inside where and having we can write. So inside where I'm writing, so I'll say select, select, and so since I'm filtering only on the basis of the customer ID, what will I have over here? Customer ID, right? But from which table? Whatever table I'm mentioning over here. Let's say TBL house as B. So B dot customer ID HSC. Okay. Now I am saying where let me just once see what all data I have in the house table. I'm telling you that. First, let me write the, let's say I'm taking San Diego over here, where I'm saying where P dot city HSC equals to San Diego. Okay, and A dot first name like K%. Okay. Now, what I'm doing over here, I am saying first this will be executed, right? Okay. I am saying, see, if I just execute this much, it is giving me the output. There are two customers living in San Diego, right? But if I just execute till this point, it is returning me an error. The multi-part identifier first name could not be bound because I am referring it from the outer query or outer table, from a table which is in the outer query, correct? So if this has to be executed, so this cannot be executed independently because it is referring to the outer query. Therefore, a correlated subquery. Now, if I execute it independent along with it, it will give me the output. So this is the only customer whose name starts with K and lives in San Diego. Clear? So how this is doing, this one is, how it is filtering is, first what is happening, it is getting, filtering the customer IDs for the San Diego, right? Then it is checking with each record of the customer table where the customer name starts with K. So first it is filtering the records for San Diego, then it is checking for the customer IDs for each customer whose name starts with K in the customer table in the outer query. Done. So when it has done, so for each row it will check it, right? So once it has done this thing, so it will return me the customer IDs for this query. Now what the outer query is doing, then it is again filtering the records based on the customer ID from the subquery. So here the filtering is happening twice. First time the inner query is referring to the outer query. After that the outer query is referring to the inner query. So computationally very expensive. Okay? I can do the same thing using in ordinary subquery. Okay? What I'll do, I'll say this and customer in what, this San Diego, and I can say and a dot first name plus like k percent. This is what, this can be executed independently, subquery. So this is a inline ordinary, and this is referring to the outer query only. So the filtering is happening only once, right? This is not referring to the outer query. The outer query is only referring to the inner query once. So if I execute this, I'll get the same output. See? So whatever I'm able to do using a, and see, whenever you write multiple correlated subqueries, it will be very confusing to even remember which table is basically in the query. The query is taking data from which tables. Like if you're using multiple subqueries and multiple tables, it will be very confusing. Okay? So computationally very expensive and very confusing. These are the two reasons we are not using it in real life scenarios. Okay? The same thing can be done with the subqueries, ordinary subquery. Whatever we are able to do using correlated, the same thing, and it is also fast when compared to correlated. So that is the difference between the correlated and ordinary self-contained, and that is the reason we are not using correlated in real life scenarios. Just for the interview purpose, it is asked. Okay, clear everyone till this point? यूज करते ही नहीं हम correlated है. हाँ. See, ultimately, if you try to understand, there is no such thing. Ultimately, this is referring to the outer query only, right? So it is working as and only. So यहाँ पे I can simply do the same thing. So whichever variables it is referring to the outer query, I can perform a separate filtering for the outer query only. Why to go with the self-contained? Sorry, correlated. Okay. Like we do not use cross join. Similarly, we do not use correlated. No such use case as such in real life. Okay. Everyone clear with the subquery part? Online guys clear with the subquery part? Guys, let me know. Sparsh. Okay. So let me just check this file. Okay. So we discussed sets yesterday. So let me just make you understand that also once. Okay. So if I'm using union all, see what is happening. If I'm having two tables, table 1, table 2, and these are the data, the output of table 1, let's say this is the output of select query 1. Select query 1, and this is the output of the select query 2. Okay. If I want to merge the output of these, merge in the sense append. Okay. So see, if you see Rick Hansen is repeating over here, basically the same record is exactly repeating in both the queries. So if I use union all allows duplicate. So it will allow that combination of duplicates. Okay? So if you see this is exactly appended one below the other, and if you see we have the Rick Hansen twice, so it does not remove any duplicate combinations. Okay? That is what union all is. Then we have union. So union will do what? It will remove the Rick Hansen. So Rick Hansen will appear only once. Also, it will do the sorting in ascending order by default. Yeah, then we have intersect. Intersect is what? Common records from both the tables. So Rick Hansen is the only common record from both the tables. Again, one thing you need to keep in mind, let's say you have in the tables, in the first select query, you just have name column. Okay? In the second select query, you have name and product both. It will return you an error. The number of columns has to be exactly same in both the select queries in which you are performing the sets or appending. Then we have except. So A minus B, let's say. So what the formula? A minus A intersection B. A intersection B is what? Common records. What are the common records? Only Rick Hansen and accessories wala. So we will get what? Jane and Joseph. Like whatever we are present in A, that one minus common records from A and B. अगर मैं B minus A करता हूं तो आउटपुट में क्या आएगा? Sue and Karen. Clear everyone? ठीक है. So now let's get back to the case study part. So it was MS only. Question 9. Once again, let me show you the data set once. These are the 5 tables I'm having. Count total open orders in the available data. It is saying total open orders. That means what I need to do, which table? Work order table, correct? Which one is work order? This one, right? Only work order table. What do you mean by total open orders? I in the complaint. See, these both are what? Orders table only. It is not specifically mentioned work order or complaint order. It is saying key order should be open state. So in the status of both of them, I can have open state orders. So what will I do between these two tables? Appending. Okay. I will do appending first. So I will say select. See, if I understand, select star from TBL complaint order as a union all. Agar koi, I can say union if there is exact duplicate record present, that will be removed. Okay, union, and then select star from TBL work order as B. Now, if you see over here, we have what? Number of columns need to be same. अगर वो orders table होती तो. Yeah. So I can perform filtering over here. I can say where a dot status underscore complaint equals to not open. And similarly, I can do this over here where b dot status underscore work order equals to open. Okay. If I select this, how many records I'm having? Let's check 8. And if I select this, how many records? 27. 27 plus 8? 35. So in order, if I say union or union all, let's say if I say union all, it should give me how much records if I say union all? 35. There are no duplicates, so union should also give me 35. Okay? So if I say 35, I'm getting correct. Okay. It is saying count total open orders. So I need to know the count of records. How can I count? How can I count? Count star कैसे? यहाँ पे so it will count for these. If I apply over here, it will count for these. Still, it is not giving me the total count. What can I do? See, I need this data, right? I need the count of what? This output. Can I declare this as a table? And then get the count of it? Yeah, temporary. Kind of just for the query part. Right? So which query? Which subquery? Ordinary. Inline. I will say select start from now. I will just basically treat this as a subquery. This will be my inline subquery. And I can say as t, and I can say count of star, which is 35 as total open orders. Then will give me a single number. Execute, done. 35. Clear? I can also do it like this. So instead of doing this open again and again, what I can do is I can say select star from table order, complaint order as a union. Select star from TBL. Select star from TBL. Work order as P. And I can define this as a table because both the tables is having a common column, work order, status, right? So when I append, it will take the name of which table? First table column names, it will take up. If you see how many records I'm having currently, 614. Okay. So instead of filtering again and again, what I can do, I can declare this as a table using a subquery as t. Now I can say where t dot status of complaint order equals to what? Open. So it will give me how many records? 35.
By default, take the name of first table.
Yeah. Whichever table you have in the first select query, it will take up that. I can simply say count of star as total open orders. So you can basically use any of the approach to go with this. Clear? Is everyone clear with question 9? Online guys? क्या नहीं लिखा? हाँ. When I have appended this, so whenever I do appending, what happens? It will take the name of what? First table. Na? So I have only a single column now. I have done the appending, and then I have declared that output as a table using the inline subquery, and I am then performing filtering on that output. Okay. तो status underscore WO था. Number of columns, say if you see this then. Can you see any difference between these two tables? Work order and complaint order. Number of columns are same, their data type is same, and context of the data is also same, right? So what will I do? If I append these two, what is the property of appending? It will take the name of the first table column names, and the value, it will just take the values of the second table. So I have a single column now, which has values of both open orders of complaint and work order. Okay. Okay. Are there any location IDs? Guys, please. Are there any location IDs where we have open service orders for disconnection and open complaint orders? So let's see. Are there any location IDs where we have open service orders for disconnection and open complaint orders? I need location IDs. So we have location ID somewhere in the work order table. I have location ID. House ID I have, yes. In the complaint order also I have the house ID. Okay. Now it is saying where we have open service orders for disconnection. So that's a work order table where type of work order is disconnection and status is open, and open complaint order. So in complaint order, the status is open. So here I won't perform the filtering after appending. Here I will perform the filtering before appending, because I can perform the filtering after appending also, but then you have to apply some logic. Okay, I'll show you that also. But here I can do what? Select star from TBL order, TBL work order as a, if you look at it, the data I'm having is what? Type of work order is what? Install and disconnect. Okay, status should be open. Okay. So where a dot type of work order. So I don't know whether it is disconnect or disconnection. Okay, so I can say like TISC%, ठीक है, and status A dot status equals to open, ठीक है, ठीक है. What's the next select query? Select star from TBL complaint order as B, where A dot, sorry, B dot type of complaint order equals to, so not type, status equals to open, ठीक है. How many I have over here? 5 over here, 8, 13 union, 13 rows, ठीक है.
It is better to use union or union only.
In case of table, you better go with union, but when you are appending to output, it depends on the use case also. Like if I want to, if I in both the select statements, if I'm having, if I want what duplicates,
Yes.
like which are the commons between the two, then I will go with accept, sorry, intersect. It depends on the case to case scenario.
Sir, union also got different use case.
Yes, for example, let's say what you can do is,
Union intersect or except हम perform कर ही रहे हैं normal data set. But union all interview question like
let's say there are two tables, ठीक है, you want to append the top two products for each year. Or let's say not that, let's say you want to count the number of rows in all the tables. Total number of rows you want, not total number, you want to show in a single column, you want to show कि customer का number of rows कितना है, sales का number of rows कितना है, another table what is the number of rows, ठीक है. So let's say the number of rows are same in any two tables, and if you use union, then this will appear only once. Ideally, it should appear how many times? Twice. So in that case, you'll go with union all.
but sir हमें but इस वाले केस में तो ना क्या बोलते हैं हमें काउंट शो करना है ना हाँ तो यूनियन भी लेंगे
Union all. Yeah. You can take union, but in cases where if you have the same number of records in two tables, then it will remove it. It will only give you unique. Okay. So, okay, are there any location IDs? So I can take over here. I need only location ID. So I can say A dot. Let it be whatever. Let's say A dot house ID I can take. Yes. कहाँ पे है? And so if I take this, ठीक है, now I can take A dot, B dot, house ID complete order. In all, how many I'm having? 10. Let's say if I say distinct. Okay, I don't need to apply distinct. Here you can't use union all, you can use union. Union will give you the distinct only. So again 10. Otherwise, if I say union all, let's say, then you will get how many? 13. So here distinct you need to, so it's now optimized query. Instead of using distinct, you are using union. That's optimized query. Right? So you have 10 rows, 10 house IDs, where either the service, where either the we have open service order for disconnection or open complaint orders.
appending के बाद
हाँ. Okay, or how you can do it without filtering first is select, let's say select star from GBL complaint order as A, union, select star from TBL work order as B. Number of rows is 614. Now here I just won't take house IDs. I need the entire table because I'm going to perform filtering after declaring this as a table. So I will first declare this as a table, select star from as T. Now I will say where T dot status of complaint order open. So this is done. What was the next thing? Okay.
service order disconnect सर एंड लगा दीजिए
Or
सर और ओपन होना चाहिए और साथ ही साथ वो डिस्कनेक्ट होना चाहिए
T dot type of work order,
Complete order.
type of complaint order equals like, disconnect, and T dot state type of status of complaint order equals to open. So we may have cases in the table, work order table, where the service is disconnection, but the status is closed. Right? So I need to work with that combination over here. So it should give me the same output as such. Let's say यहाँ पे I will take T dot house ID complaint order. That should return me 13 around 35. If I take distinct 32, still not the same output I'm getting.
हम सर ये एक बार ओपन वाला इसको ऐड करो डायरेक्टली ये दोनों को काउंट कर ले
Yeah, I think it should be and. ये दोनों कंडीशन सेटिस्फाई होनी चाहिए ना इन अ सिंगल टेबल. लेट्स चेक. 5 बहुत कम आ रहा है.
सर टाइप ऑफ कंप्लेंट ऑर्डर्स को पूरा हटा के एंड डिस्कनेक्ट कर दो
Then it will only give me for the disconnection part. Okay, got it. What we can do is type of complaint order like disconnection or type of complaint order like complaint or equals to complaint, I can say. And status should be open. So this should give you the correct output. 10 rows. ठीक है?
Not consider the T dot or status column.
That is considered no status is a single column, and I just need open in both the scenarios. So difference was in the disconnection and complaint. So there are three services. There are three orders: complaint, service, complaint, install, and disconnection. When I append the table in a complaint order, I have three things: complaint, disconnection, and install. So this combination you can go with. Yeah. Okay. Otherwise, this one is a very simple to go with. If you want to do it using like this can also be done. Okay. This is the logic you can go with. तो उसमें तीन कैटेगरीज होंगी ना, कंप्लेंट, डिस्कनेक्ट एंड इंस्टॉल. Disconnect and TDOS status underscore equals to open and then the next condition. ठीक है?
ऐसा कोई बिजनेस यूज केस आ सकता है कि जब हमने पहले तो क्वेरी लिखा उसके बाद हमने उसको ना ग्रुप बाय में लिया और एनएल टेबल पे ग्रुप बाय के बाद हैविंग में हमने क्वेरी लिखनी पड़ी.
तो या आई टोल्ड यू दैट ना हैविंग वाला तो
नहीं मैंने बता दिया मतलब कि क्वेरी पहले वेयर कंडीशन में भी
हाँ
बट उसके बाद हमने जब सॉर्टिंग करी ग्रुप बाय के थ्रू उसके बाद जब हैविंग ले रहे हैं हम उसमें सिंपल लेना उसमें
लिख सकते हैं.
लाइक कंप्यूटेशनल प्रॉब्लम तो नहीं होगी कि वो सब क्वेरीज एक साथ उसके कंटेंट
Depends on the complexity of the problem ना. Unnecessary if you are doing it then doesn't make sense, but
अगर नेसेसरी है बट डेटा बहुत बड़ा
obviously you have to do that. If you want the output you have to do that. If that is required that like after in the outer query if you write a sub query then
या फिर ऐसा कोई तरीका है कि दोनों को अलग सेपरेट सॉल्व करके उनको मर्ज किया जा सकता है ऐसा
joins.
और एक ही डेटा में हम दोनों काम कर अलग अलग टैग कर सकते हैं तो इनको जॉइन करें.
We can merge two select statements. We'll see that in the advanced case study. I can merge the output of two select statements. ठीक है? Okay, guys, question 10 clear, everyone? Online guys clear with question 10? Online guys, yeah. Okay. ठीक है? ठीक है. So let's do one thing. It's about 11. Let's have a break. And everyone be back by 11:20. Okay? Okay, guys, please settle down. Question number 11. Let me show you the data set once. Question 11. Locations where customers have never given any complaints but discontinued the services. ठीक है? हाँ, बट मैंने अपेंड किया था ना, देखो यहाँ पे अपेंड करने के बाद तो तीनों कैटेगरीज होंगी ना. देखो दिखा देता हूँ. देखो इसमें इंस्टॉल भी तो है, इंस्टॉल है, फिर ये देखो कंप्लेंट भी है, अपेंड करने के बाद है ना वो तो. Okay. So guys, locations where customers have never given any complaints. ठीक है. So basically मेरे को guys please, मेरे को वो हाउस आईडीज चाहिए जहाँ पे कस्टमर ने कभी कंप्लेन नहीं करी है बट डायरेक्टली सर्विस को डिस्कनेक्ट कर दिया है. देयर आर टू टाइप्स ऑफ कस्टमर्स, जिन्होंने कंप्लेन की होगी उसके बाद सर्विस डिस्कनेक्ट करी होगी. एक होंगे जिन्होंने कंप्लेन ही नहीं करी, सीधा डिस्कनेक्ट कर दिया. ठीक है. So I want second type of customers, second type of locations or house IDs where customers have never complained and just discontinued the services. So which tables I will require for this? So I will require work order table and complaint order table. ठीक है. What will right now? ठीक है. अब just understand कि customer who has given any complaint, his house ID will be present over here in the complaint table. And after that, if he has discontinued the services, then his house ID will also be present in the work order. So I don't want such house IDs. What I want is, I want only those house IDs present in the work order table, which are not present in the complaint table. So those are those house IDs who have never complained. तो complaint किया नहीं तो register होगा नहीं record कभी complaint table में. But उन्होंने सीधा service क्या opt करी, disconnection. Why intersect? Intersect will give me what? Common between the two? Except. Good. Which is my A table? Work order. And what is B table? So I need to subtract which type of house IDs? Which type of house IDs? Which has registered the complaint and also disconnected the services. ठीक है? मतलब which are present in both the tables. I just don't want those house IDs. Correct? So let's say what is my A table over here? So I will say select star from TBL work order, TBL work order as A, then select star from TBL complaint order as B. Okay? These two tables are required. Now, in the work order table, I want house IDs. So I will say A dot house ID work order, A dot house ID work order. जिन्होंने सर्विसेज डिस्कनेक्ट करी है, so I can say where A dot what type of work order, like disconnect or disconnection, whatever it is. So it will give me only those house IDs who has disconnected the services. ठीक है. Now complaint order में what? Where what? Nothing as such. So I just need all the house IDs from the complaint order table. Correct? So if I just check how many house IDs are there who has disconnected the services. 42. Let me check how many distinct are there. 42. Earlier it was 42 only. Okay. And yeah, how many house IDs I have in the complaint order table? 83. Let me check how many distinct are there. One is repetitive. Okay. Now what I want is I want those location IDs who have never given any complaints. That means the house IDs which are present in the output of this query but not present in the complaint order table, right? A minus B. So if I say except, which is A minus B. Yeah. So there are 30 house IDs who have disconnected the services but never registered any complaints. Among how many house IDs? 82. Right? Let me check if this is working correctly or not. Just once. Select star from. Yeah, it's correct. So I don't need this query. Got it? From 82 house IDs, there are only 30 house IDs who have disconnected the services without any complaints. See? If I reverse the order, like this is my A part, and this is my B part. Okay. So what this will mean over here? What is the business analysis you can think of when I write this query?
The house rent.
It is exactly opposite of this. Right. So what it is saying, among all the house IDs who have registered complaint, right? Which are the house IDs who did not, or which are the house IDs who did not disconnected the services without any complaint. This is what it is giving me.
Who did disconnect without complaint?
Who did not disconnect without complaints. So they have registered the complaint first and then they have disconnected. 70. I think it is this. I think it is giving me this and then it is filtering. So let me give 1 second. Select star from. Yeah, it's correct.
तो ठीक है तो इसको सब क्वेरी में लेने का मतलब क्या रहा?
No, I was thinking what I was thinking. Well, I was just checking whether just accept is not only working only on this part of it and then filtering it. Okay. So if I check key how many house IDs I'm having over here, 42. Okay. And among these, here I have 82. So 42 house IDs are there who have disconnected the services. Okay. Now it may be some of them who have registered the complaint and some of them who have not registered the complaint. So if I say 70 over here, what does that mean? This is telling me the house IDs who have discontinued the services. It may contain both जिन्होंने disconnect किया है and complaint register करी है नहीं करी दोनों contain करता है. This contains only जिन्होंने complaint register करी है. Right. So if I subtract A, B minus A, what will it give me? 82 is the total number of house IDs जिन्होंने complaint करी है. 42 is the one जिन्होंने disconnect किया है, right? So disconnect किया है. So among these 42, how many are the ones how many are the ones जो कि इसमें present है? So there were 10, I think we were getting 70. So there were 12 house IDs among the 14 house IDs जिन्होंने disconnect किया है. There are 12 house IDs जिन्होंने disconnect किया है with complaint.
सर इसको अगर ग्राउंड के ना पूरे के पूरे तो
So if I just take intersect of this, correct, 12 rows. So there are 12 house IDs जिन्होंने complaint करने के बाद disconnect किया है. Right, this is one thing. Then let's say अगर मैं यहाँ पे accept ले रहा हूँ तो मेरे को 70 दे रहा है. What does that mean? That is very important to understand. So if I say accept, so this contains all the house IDs which has registered the complaint. This is giving me all. So this is how much? 82. This is 42. Among that, 82 minus 12 is 70. What were those 12? जिन्होंने complaint करके disconnect किया है. Correct? So what are these 70s? जिन्होंने complaint की है but disconnect नहीं किया है. So there are 70 house IDs who have done the complaint but did not disconnect the services. So let me just write it over here for the understanding purpose. Did house locations did the complaint but did not disconnect the services. Okay, this is what house locations did the complaint and disconnected the services. Clear? So this is how you are going to interpret your queries. Just blindly writing it won't make any sense. So I have shown you the how to use when to use intersect, when to use accept, and when to use union or union all. Clear with question 11? So question 11 answer is this, which is how much? 30. Online guys, clear with question 11?
तो इसको सब क्वेरी में ले सकते हैं वेयर कंडीशन नॉर्मली
Yes.
एज ए टी करके
Yes. Not in.
नॉट इस करके सब कुछ
Online guys, clear with question 11?
सर थोड़ा सा रिकैप करवा दो ना.
I'm using percent with distinct. I'm saying I'm not sure about it whether it is disconnect or disconnection. So I've just written the first 3-4 words. I'm saying then any number of characters after it. It will return me only those which are disconnect. Okay. Yeah. What was the question from the online? Yeah, Aditya.
सर परसेंटेज साइन का इधर फीलिंग क्या है सर?
0 or more characters after this pattern.
ओके सर.
So it can be DISC. Either it can be disconnect or disconnection. I'm not sure of it. So I've just written disc and percent. Anyone else from the online having any query regarding this? Question 11. Okay. Moving on to next question, which is question 12. List down the number of customers and number of total orders, which is work order plus complaint placed by them.
Hello.
So this is the data we have. What I want is, I need customer ID, let's say. So customer ID is present over here. How many orders are placed by how much order is placed by the customers? So how to go about it? What's the first step?
how much very on table
From which table?
what about
Table work order, let's say, or complaint order as a. Then
you
I will append first
Yeah.
to get the total orders. Select start from TBL work order as B. So this will give me what total orders. Now it is asking me how many orders are placed by them based on the customer. I will store this in the inline subquery. So select start from I will say as T and
t dot complaint order count
so I can say select T dot customer ID cus complaint order and
count
count of star since this is order table or any column. Basically order ID will make much sense. Orders ID as total context orders group by T dot customer ID complaint order. So these are the customers and the total orders placed by them. Clear? So the only concept you have used is a of sets append.
question for people list down customers name number of customers total number of customers and total number of orders for the so if t वाले table में ही हम count लिख लेंगे तो
So you just don't need to then group by customer ID. No? Take a distinct. So order ID is always distinct. You can take the distinct of the customer ID and count of it. Yeah. Online guys, clear. So we are done with this MSO case study. Clear with question 12. So in basically the last 3-4 questions, we have used the concept of subqueries. Mostly inline and ordinary. Sorry, ordinary and inline.
so mostly हम inline use करेंगे because you
Ordinary also. Self-contained basically you'll be using.
use case पे also different but
Yeah. Self-contained. Okay, online guys, clear or not till this point? Guys, let me know clear or not this question 12. Okay. If this is clear, then let's understand one more concept of window functions. Okay. I'll be using the table order table over here. So let me tell you what window functions are. Okay. Okay. Yeah, I have that PDF. Okay. Now, see, if I tell you what window function is, you have this table where you have region, city, and states. Okay. If you group by city and get the total sales of each city, what will happen? Your number of rows are affected. It will give you the unique categories and the total sales, right? Okay. Now, if you want to retain all the rows which are present in your data set, that is, you want to add a column separately of total sales. If you want to add a column of aggregated value separately and does not want the rows to be affected, number of rows should be retained as it is. So for that, you'll be using window function. So see, whatever value I'm getting for Bangalore, I'm getting the unique value over unique categories. So wherever there is Bangalore over here, I will be getting what? 75,000. Wherever there is Delhi, I'll be getting 65,000. Wherever there is like Bangalore, it will be 40,000. So it will be Calcutta. Okay? So it will be 40,000. Right? So when you want to map the aggregated values at the row level without and want window functions. Okay? Now I'm not saying ki I cannot get this output using the group by clause or select query. I can. How? How will I get the same output? What will I do is I will write three different. See, if I have three cities, okay? See, this will be a single line query, which will give me this output. If I want to get this output using a select query or a group by, what I will do? I will first write a select query. First select query will be what? Select star from table name, raw data. Second select query will be what? Select city, put sum of sales, group by city. This will give me aggregated value. Then I will perform the join between these two queries, left join, on the basis of the city column. Then only this column will be added. So it's a very long process. I'm not saying it cannot be done using select query, but you have to write multiple select queries and then join it. The same thing can be done with window functions. You just have to write a single line code. That's the advantage. What I want to do is, if I want to understand, let's have city and region. If I want to understand, let's say for Bangalore, what, like at a region level, I want to understand what is the percentage distribution of sales. Correct. So for that reason, I need to consider the region. Each region is 100%. So for that, I'll be using what? Window functions, because I'll be getting the total values for each region. And then I can calculate the city sales divided by region total sales will give me the percentage distribution of each city in that region. Clear? That's the use case. If you try to do it using a select statement, you may have to think of basically you have to write 3-4 select statements and then perform joins and then inline subqueries, and then you'll be getting this output. But this can be done using a single line of code using the window functions. Okay? Correct. Subtotals and all of that. Yeah. So that's the overview of the window functions. Okay? Now let's see this window function thing. Okay. So if I write the definition of this, when we want the aggregated or output at the row level, I should say, when you want the output row level, or I can say when you want the summarized output or long summarized output such that all the rows of the raw data are retained. Then in that case, you'll be using window functions. Okay? Now, if I talk about what are the types of window functions, the first type we have is aggregate window functions. Then second type we have is rank window functions, lead and lag. Any function among these three becomes a window function when you use over clause. Okay. So what are aggregate functions? Sum, min, max, average, count. Along with this, if you use with over, it will basically become a window function. If I talk about rank window functions, we have rank, tens rank, tens underscore rank, row underscore number. Use with over. Lead and lag, again, use with over function. Okay. Clear? Okay. So again, bootcamp may I'll be working with table order. Let us select start from table order as A. Okay. First window function that we'll be working with is aggregate. Okay. Let's first understand how window function works. Okay. So I will say select. So I want to retain all the rows. Okay. All the rows I want to retain, and I want to have a summarized value, whatever value I want. Okay. So I will say star, comma. See, when you're using window functions, now you don't have to use group by. Even if you have non-aggregated columns in the select statement. That's the main advantage. So I will say sum of, let's say, I'm going with some A dot sales. And so now if I execute this, what will I get? What will be the output? Total sales. What will be the output if I execute this query? Error आएगा. We have non-aggregated data, aggregated column. So I need to put all the columns into the group by first. But let's say if I use over function, just over function, I'm using, this becomes a window function now. And I will give the name as, like name, I'll give it later. But this is my one column. Okay. So one column will be added over here. All the rows are retained. What I'm getting? Let's say as over all sales. Okay. We don't need to use group by when you are using window functions. Okay. यहाँ पे there you don't have to group by when you're using window functions. Okay. So let's say overall sales, I'm giving the name. Right now, if I want to understand, see, I can do this using a subquery also. The same thing, I calculated what? Percentage of what? These category. So I got the total sales using a subquery, inline subquery inside the select statement. So now what I can do is, see, one more thing, you cannot use window functions for filtering inside the where or having clause. You cannot use the functions. You have to declare this as a table using the inline subquery and then use those column names for filtering. So I have the overall sales. This is giving me what? Overall sales. Now, let's say if I want to understand the overall sales for each customer, I have unique customers. I can simply divide their sales by this column. So for that, I have to do what? I have to declare the output as a table first. And then I will derive another column because this column will exist only if it is declared in a table. Because select is executed after having and after having, right? So this column does not exist that you can use it in the where or I can say some other having clause. And formula doesn't work over here. So this is giving me what? Overall sales. Let's first understand how window function is behaving. Okay? If I do not pass any argument in the over function and just taking the aggregation, it is giving me what? Overall sales. Okay. So I will say now select star from table order as A. And now in the over function, so I will say sum of A dot sales and I will say over and I will say यहाँ पे order by sales. You cannot use sum of sales inside the over function. sales, and I'm saying ascending order. Okay, by default it is what? Ascending. Okay. So if I do that, what you're able to get? So my sales are sorted in ascending order. And now what I'm getting in the derived column? Same as sales. How? Cumulative sales. So when I use order by any variable, continuous variable over here, like the same variable, it is giving me what? Cumulative. So when I say any continuous variable, it is giving me cumulative. So I will say what as cumulative. That is how you can calculate cumulative in SQL. Okay. Okay. So again, select star from TPL order as a. I'm just showing the variations over here. If I take sum of a dot sales over, if I execute this, what will I get? What will I get? Overall sales will be. Okay. If I do order by, what I'm getting? Cumulative sales. If I do partition by, so we have two arguments, partition by and order by. So partition by, and I am saying category. Okay. What I'm getting over here? It is giving me the overall sales of each category. और वो repeat हो रहा है, जहाँ पे category repeat हो रही है, because all the rows are retained. So if I want to understand what is the percentage distribution of products for each category, considering category is 100% in terms of sales, can I do this? Right? ये समझ में आया क्या हो रहा है यहाँ पे? That is how it is working. Group by इसमें है ही नहीं. You have to argument partition by, order by. Okay. I'm just showing you the variations. How you are going to calculate cumulative frequency. Whatever we did in Excel, we are doing in SQL. As what? Cat underscore total sales. Okay. Now let's say if I say select star from TBL order as a, and यहाँ पे if I take sum of a dot sales and I am saying over function and I am saying over partition by category, what will I get? As above. Also I'm saying order by sales. It will give me what? Category wise cumulative sales. Correct? For each category, it will give me the cumulative sales. So if I execute this, if you check, what was the overall sales of furniture? 14778. So it is getting added. And the last one. Again, it is doing the same thing for the office supplies. Cumulative at category level. Clear? Okay. So now instead of sum, you can replace it with any function, min, max, count, average. The use case will be same. Okay? इससे नहीं होगा. I'll come to that. So guys, clear with this? Everyone? Variations of the aggregate window function. Okay? Now let's say I'm giving you a question. Get the percentage growth in terms of years, or for each year in terms of sales. Okay? If you remember the option in pivot table, percentage difference from previous. Sorry, यहाँ पे percentage growth possible नहीं होगा because हमने वो concept cover नहीं किया है. But what we can do? Okay, 1 second, let me think of an example. Okay, what I will do, let me just first cover the variation and then I will give you the question which will use multiple concepts. Okay? Okay, this is the variation of aggregate. Now you can use sum, min, max, average, count, whatever you want to use. Over function has two arguments: partition by and order by. Order by ascending, descending. You can partition by multiple variables also. Like I have done what category, comma, product also I can do. Okay. Order by multiple variables, ascending, descending. That can also be done. Okay. So is everyone clear with the variations of the aggregate window functions? Online guys, clear? Correct. जैसे ग्रुप बाय काम करते हैं वैसे ही हो. Online guys, clear till this point? So it will give you the min value for each category, max value for each category. Agar if you are saying min just over function, it will give you the overall minimum value. So it depends on scenario to scenario कि किस केस में क्या यूज होगा. Yes, carry. Partition by is for segregation. Basically, when I say partition by, whatever variable I'm taking, it will divide my data into the number of categories that particular column is having. So if that column is having 5 categories, it will divide the data into 5 parts. For each category separate. Okay. So it is basically creating windows, I can say. Separate windows. So that is the window functions. Next type of window function we'll be looking into is rank window functions. Okay. So we have, okay. So I'll just select start from TBL order as a, and I will say यहाँ पे rank. Now here also you can play with the over function. Okay. So rank, it does not take any input. Okay. It will be blank, and you will say over. And I will give the name as as whatever. I'm not giving the name, but if I execute this, it will return me an error. It is saying what? Here, order by clause was not compulsory, but whenever you're using rank function, well, let me write it. Because you need to tell whether you want to sort in ascending order or descending order, right? So order by is necessary in ranks. So I will say what? Order by sales, and ascending, even if I don't mention, it will take it. So let me take descending. So that means highest value as the first rank. See. So 9499 is the highest, it's the first rank. And this is the 22nd. So if you see over here, if you remember rank dot equal in Excel, that's rank function in SQL, because it is doing what? It is skipping the rank. 14, 14, and then one rank is skipped, 16. This is giving me what? Overall rank. Correct? Again, if I say order wise compulsory over here, correct? Yeah. Yeah, but I purposely want to show that. Yes. If I say अगर duplicates नहीं होंगे, duplicate sales में नहीं होने चाहिए. So it may happen कि रोज duplicate नहीं है, but sales में duplicate values हो सकती है ना. One customers can have the same amount. So I'm saying partition by category. ठीक है? So for each category, it will assign ranks starting from 1. So I can say cat underscore rank category. So if you see over here, first my data is divided into windows, furniture, and office supplies starting from 1. For each category, the rank is starting from 1. So this is helpful. If I want to understand which are my top 2 products or top 2nd product or top 5th, I can simply perform where, not directly over here. I'll tell you that. Correct. If I want to assign, if I want to get which is my top 2nd, let's say if I have a question, the question can be get the top 2 or top 2nd product for each category. Okay. So simple code you have to write is this. Okay. Top 2, and I will just define this as a table because I cannot use window functions this inside the where or having clause. So I'll be using the column names. Okay. And select star from and this one. Let me define this as a table as T. Okay. Now what I need to do is okay, now I can say where T dot now this variable, this column data derived is defined in the table. So its name is what? Cat underscore rank equals to 2. So it will give me the second product for each category. Okay. So I have furniture में table is the top second, office supplies में binders and tech में machines. वो repeat है इसलिए आ रहा है. But so likewise I can get the top 5 customers for each city, partition by city, and order by sales. Yeah, I'll tell you that. That is, but with rank it is not. So you need to keep in mind जब आप ये rank window function use कर रहे हो ना, ये जब आप ranking assign कर रहे हो, that should be your sales column should be a summarized sales column. So पहले आप group by करके whatever your output is उसके बेसिस पे आप फिर उसको रैंक असाइन करोगे. ये रॉ डेटा पे नहीं होगा. अगर रॉ डेटा डिस्टिंक्ट है तो हो जाएगा, बट एनीवे एल्स लेट्स से आई एम सेइंग इट कस्टमर वाइज सेल्स टॉप 10 कस्टमर्स फॉर ईच सिटी ग्रुप बाय सिटी कस्टमर सम ऑफ सेल्स. अभी तो मैं डेटा प्रेप करूंगा ना पहले. सो आई विल हैव दैट टेबल. I will define that as a table using the inline subquery. Now in that inline subquery, I'll be writing this function. Then I will define that entire query as a inline subquery. And then I'll be using where function to filter. That's how you're going to do it. So this sales is your aggregated summarized column, which is defined as a column using inline subquery. Okay. So where rank equals to, you have that. So this can be done. Okay. So these are the only variations. Now you can use dense underscore rank or row number. So the difference between them is, let me take this one. Dense rank is basically does not skip the rank. So you saw that 14, 14 and then 16. It will give you 14, 14, 15. Okay? Dense underscore rank. So if you check, it will give you 13, 13 and then 14. It is not skipping the rank. And if I check about the row number, so row number, what row number will do is, it will give you the unique ranking even if you have duplicates. So the first value will be given the higher rank, the second value will be given the next rank, depending on how you are sorting it. Dense is used for when you don't want to skip the rank. I'm not skipping the rank over here, 13, after that it is 14. In just rank function, it was what? It was 13, 13 and 14, 14 and then 16. So it was skipping the ranks. So row number, if I execute, you will see. So you are not able to see any duplicate. These values, which one? Yeah, these two have the same values. But the first one is given the first rank and after that the next consecutive rank. Okay? So row number will always give you unique ranking even if you have duplicate values. So that was the part about the rank window functions. Guys, clear with the rank window functions? अभी भी नहीं होगा. नहीं. Row number gives you unique ranks, unique numbers. Online guys, any other query from anyone regarding the rank window functions? From the online, anyone having any query regarding the rank window functions? Okay, lead and lag. So let's say Okay. So understand now lead and lag. Okay, how it works. So we will start with lag function. So I am taking lag, and here I will take the column name as sales, and I'm taking lag of 1. Okay, and I'm using over. It has to be done with over function only. So if I execute this, what it is saying, order wise compulsory. So I will say order by sales ascending. What has happened over here? I have taken lag of 1. So my sales was what? This one. It has shifted to next cell, one cell down. If I take lag of 2, it will shift to 2 cells down. And okay, clear? We'll see that, but see that now, this thing. It is showing me null because these values are shifted 2 cells down. Each value shifted 2 cells down. Okay? So that means you won't be able to see the last 2 values, this one and this one. Okay? Okay. So let's say lag of 1 I'm taking. Now, as lag underscore. Now, if I take lag of this and if I partition by category, what will happen? For each category, it will show me the first cell as null. For each category, the first cell is null. For each category. Category level पे data divide हो गया यहाँ पे. Right? यहाँ पे data is divided into category level. So each first value of each category is null. ठीक है? Okay. Carry, I'll tell you the use case for this, but just understand what lag does. Okay? Everyone understand what lag does? Now lead is opposite of lag. Lag is shifting one cell down. If I'm taking lag of 1, lead will shift one cell upward. If I take lag of a lead of 1. Okay? Last row value won't be in the output only. So if I take lag of 1, so you can see this value is not there. There's a reason for that. See, where do we use lag? Mostly in the time series data to smoothen out the fluctuations for forecasting. Okay. So let me now give you the question. Okay. I am saying question is get the percentage growth for each year in terms of sales. How can I do this? What my output, how many columns my output will have? सारे कहाँ से होंगे? It's not necessary that you will use lag window functions only on the raw data. I can use it on my any output of my select statement. So how many columns my output will have? How many columns my output will have? And which columns? 2, yes. Which columns? Sales. Year, not date. Year and percentage growth. Percentage difference from previous in pivot tables, remember? Same as that. So I will say select star from, the first step is what? I need to get the total sales year wise. So I will say from TBL order as a, and I will say a year function a dot order date as year underscore, and I need to have some of a dot sales as total sales. What next? What next? Aggregated column, non-aggregated column, group by year of order date. This will give me total sales for each year. Somehow I'm getting my year sorted, right? Now what? I need to use this output for calculations. So I need to define this as a table. So inline subquery, select start from. I can give the name as T. Okay, what I need to do now? I need to calculate what percentage growth, right? So how can I calculate the percentage growth? Correct, lag. I will take lag of t dot total. Now my table has only two columns, year and total. T dot total sales, lag of 1 over order by what? Order by is compulsory. Order by what? Year. Good. Year underscore in the ascending order, because I want to have my years in proper order to calculate the percentage growth. It cannot be 2013 minus 2015 or 2014 minus 2011. If I have all the years, it has to be in sequence: 12 minus 11, 13 minus 12, 14 minus 13. Done. As lag underscore 6. Okay. What happened? Acha, as T. Okay. If I wanted to do partition for category, that can also be done. Now I need to use this output to do the calculations further. So I will say select star from. Now this entire query will become my inline subquery. As let's say T1. Okay. What I want to do over here is I want to calculate the percentage growth. So I would display let's say T1 dot year underscore, and so it is what current year minus previous year divided by previous year sales. So what is my current year? T dot T1 dot. Okay, it is not take 1 second. So लिखा था, I think delete होगा. T1 dot year, then I'm taking T1 dot total sales minus T1 dot lag of sales divided by T1 dot lag of sales into 100 as percentage growth. Okay. So if I execute this, so I have got my percentage growth. So I can say from 2011 to 12, there was a percentage growth in sales of 82%. From 12 to 13, there was a decline of 81%, and 13 to 14, there was an incline of 410%. Clear? So that's how you are going to calculate the percentage growth. Okay. So whatever you're going to do through lead, the lead is not having any specific use case as such. Whatever you can do with lead can be done with lag as well. Like it just taking lag of it or getting the value in the upper cell or next cell down to it. That just the difference between lag and lead. Okay, you can use any of it to achieve your objective, whatever output you want. Clear? With the lag and lead window functions. Online guys, any query regarding the lag given you the use case over here? Let me just say Control S, save it. Online guys, let me know any query regarding the window functions part. Online guys, let me know. Clear or not regarding the window functions? Sparsh, Bhavna. Outline, guys, clear? Anyone having any query in the window functions part? No? Okay. Okay.
एक तो क्वेश्चन और करवा दो ना
Error?
Total sales minus lakh sales.
That's a null value. That's not a text. That's null, blank.
So divided by lakh sales, it becomes a going to be.
It will return null only. क्यों? Growth कैसे निकालोगे? If I do not have your previous data, can I understand कि what's your growth? How is your performance? No, right? You need to have the previous year data.
पहले नीचे वाला टोटल से उसका एक स्टेप
Okay.
एक लाख से
Which one? कौन सी वैल्यू? तो ये है ना T1. जैसे पहले मैंने ये वाला लिखा था, फिर इसको टेबल डिक्लेयर किया यूजिंग इनलाइन सब क्वेरी, मतलब देन यहाँ पे लैग कैलकुलेट किया, फिर इस एंटायर सिलेक्ट क्वेरी को मैंने सब क्वेरी बना दिया इनलाइन, फिर वहां पे मैंने कैलकुलेशन परफॉर्म कर दी. It is from going from inner point to the outer point. The outer query is taking the you don't have the data for that. You need to prepare the data ना, so that you can calculate. अगर आपके पास already data prepared है raw data में, तो आप direct calculate कर लो. Current, previous. Make sense now? Because I have got my previous year value in the next year now. So that's my current year, that's my previous year. Okay. Okay. So what I will do, I'll stop for today. Okay. You have a weekend. So do revise each and every concept thoroughly, जो कि आज हमने किया है. From Monday onwards, we'll be starting with the advanced case study, end to end. Okay. That will be using DDL commands also, DML also, and the select query. Subqueries. Now you have to identify by looking at the question which approach I can go with. Clear? Okay. I'll test it. So that's a building block now. Who have not passed it or who has not given it. Okay. We'll discuss that. Online guys, any query? No?